Good morning to the jurors. The topic of my thesis is Distinctive City, Underlying Bond between New and Old City. Explaining the thesis design, we hereby go with the following sequence starting from introducing the topic to reach till design conclusion as follows. Starting with the research study giving a brief about the topic, where it is a city-based thesis research project. Cities are a process of continuous evolution and development over a period of time. At the point when a city is continuously evolving, it carries with itself certain social, physical, cultural, historical, economical, conflict characteristics of its own. A constant change in a city by rise in the population, expansion and development, urbanization and modernization leads to a certain loss of identity and characteristics for a city. Now, talking about how to define a particular city, one can have a mental perception of a city and link to one of its images in four variant city characters, which can be defined as follows. The five physical elements of mental mapping of a city in Kevin Lynn's book, The Image of the City. City impression, where a city is known by the people, their language, appearance, culture. City symbol and landmark, where a place becomes an image of a city. And city's collective identity, where it differs from a local inhabitant to the tourist perceiving the city. This thesis research presents a framework for understanding the relationship of a city's character and identity, taking the case of India as one of the unique city, Ahmedabad, that beholds a uniqueness of being titled as the UNESCO World Heritage City as well as the Smart City. The city of Ahmedabad is situated on the banks of the Sabarmati River in Gujarat, India. The Sabarmati, being one of the longest river in Gujarat, divides the entire city into two parts, that is the western zone and the eastern zone, which is the new city and the old city. For administrative purposes, the city has been particularly divided into six different subzones. In order to proceed with the research study, it was conducted in five stages as listed in the research methodology chart. Starting from literature review, then survey analysis, certain case studies were done, then site study, study of government proposals, then ending upon research inferences, which ultimately resulted in a site program derivation. Here is the timeline study of Ahmedabad. The city beholded successive periods of political dominance under Mughal, Maratha, British rules built upon the initial footprints of the Sultanate era. The historic timeline added the natural process of cultural exchange in city with time. The evolution resulted in a multi-layered and exceptional cultural significance of the city. Talking about the evolution and growth of Ahmedabad, a mega city like Ahmedabad is progressing faster day by day in its expansion and growth. The city started expansion in the eastern part in the pre-independence period, that is the old city, and now it experiences expansion and surge in the growth in the western part after the post-independence period, which is the new city and recalled as the new Ahmedabad city. The two functioning government bodies has developed the Ahmedabad city in past decade in various forms of planned growth and city expansion, well-developed road network, civic amenities and public buildings, well-developed public transport system, land use and development schemes. Talking upon the need of public spaces in cities. Congested urban areas are spectators of cities' development history, and as time passes by, they become disordered, overpopulated, depleted regarding their resources and spaces to construct or intersect. With the change in time, there is a constant developing need of urbanization and infrastructure development, resulting in the need of more and more public spaces catering to various civic activities and social integration for the city's beholders. The municipal government body of Ahmedabad city has been constantly working on the development of more and more public spaces to cater the city's public needs. The historic city of Ahmedabad consists of built heritage which also forms a part of cultural heritage and has its different tangible and intangible layers in form of heritage complexes and sites, cultural landscapes, intangible heritage consisting of festivals, people's lifestyles, cultural celebrations, rituals, and certain artwork been inherited by all the practices in the city. Speaking on the factor of tourism and development, ever since the city got the UNESCO prestigious tag of World Heritage, the footfall of domestic and international tourists have subsequently risen. This is the tourist development plan of Ahmedabad, where Ahmedabad also becomes a destination for domestic and international tourists to witness a lot of heritage prestigious sites located spread across the entire city. Talking up for city densification in the next 10 years, The city will experience more densification and a high-rise growth in the central core part after the growth of an envisioned central business district as sanctioned in the development plan of 2021 by the government body of Ahmedabad. Thus, requirement of more and more public spaces in the city to cater such large expansion and growth. Now coming to the stage of design intent formulation. A study was conducted to analyze how public spaces becomes a government revenue model where the city government initiates addition of public and civic spaces which becomes a self-revenue source model not only for the city government but as well as the city and its stakeholders. If we talk about hypothesis, I conclude that the integration of various cultural, social and commercial activities when fostered in form of a modern contemporary landmark can bridge the underlying bond between the new and the old city as a future-proof development balancing the identity and historic characteristics from the past towards an impressive future for a developing city. Bridging the gap between the new and the old city in case of Ahmedabad, certain parameters for design consideration were evaluated first before starting with the designing process. Characters and identity of a city were extracted to translate them into resulted programs that will be ending upon a design conclusion. And thus, a design proposal was established with the focus on integration of commercial, cultural, and social activities that exchange its value between new city and old city of Ahmedabad. The research study involved conducting several case studies, among which two were domestic and two were international. The prime focus of case studies was to study the different parameters and functioning of public projects in response to their context. The conclusion of the case studies resulted in the identification of different programs and scope of development for public spaces in a city. Now, talking about site selection and site study, since it's a public space development proposal, the site was selected in the central core part of Ahmedabad, well connected with all the sub-regions. The Sabarmati riverfront corridor have always been a prominent heart to the city of Ahmedabad to fetch the development of more and more public space proposals on both its riverfront edges. The idea was to select two sites, basically one on the western edge in the new city and one on the eastern edge on the old city. Both the existing sites selected being connected by the medium of an existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge in the central part of the Sabarmati river. Going ahead, mapping was done of all the government proposals in the Sabarmati riverfront corridor context to our selected site so that our design proposal doesn't overlap with any of the existing government public space proposals in the city context. And then study of existing site sections were done where both the sites have a similar characteristics of lying next to a riverfront with three levels formed due to an upper promenade, a lower promenade, and then our raised selected site which is 5 steps above the level of the upper promenade on both the riverfront edges. After the selection of site has been proceeded, as the selected sites fall under the context of a new city and old city with two distinct edges, several image mapping of the nearby site context plots had been done. Mapping of all the historical landmarks, public spaces, public transport mediums, and heritage spots was done. Site study and selection involved working on different layers of contextual mapping in form of the location plan, figure ground mapping, road network plan, climatic analysis, contour mapping, site accessibility map, where the site has so many access points in terms of the riverfront promenade edges as well as the road, and then comes the central pedestrian bridge. This aerial view basically explains the entire site in detail where Site A, which is a 2-acre plot lying in New Ahmedabad city, Site B, which is an 8-acre plot which lies in the old Ahmedabad city, and in central part they are being connected together by the medium of an existing pedestrian bridge being developed by the government body. The focus is to make the new city plot Site A having commercial activities connected with the old city plot on Site B having cultural activities where socially they get integrated together by the medium of an existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge being developed. Coming to the stage of design program formulation. Here on the slide are shown images of Site A and Site B. As we can see, the existing conditions remain undeveloped with no public utilities on both the ends of the selected sites. but only allocation under public purpose development zones in DP Plan 2021. Here comes the present scenario where there's been an existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge being developed by the government body of the city. 70% of its work has been already developed, as seen in the images on right hand side corner. The question arises, why would someone cross a 300 meter of a pedestrian activity with there being no utilities or any public spaces developed on both the riverfront edges? Concluding of hypothesis, we state that the future proposals of public space development on both the distinct edges will be connected with the medium of this existing proposal of the pedestrian bridge. Thus, we integrate cultural activities being developed on Site A in form of an urban heart and city seasonal plaza, and commercial activities in developed on Site B in form of a city civic center catering to various public activities, which will be socially connected by the medium of an existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge, connecting our Site A and B all together. Now, understanding the proposal of the urban heart and city seasonal plaza on Site A, there are many programs spread across the entire site, namely food courts, open sitting spaces near these food courts, permanent craft shops, temporary seasonal festival kiosk, performance area and installation spaces, and a distinct landscape which is spread across the entire site. Understanding the same about the site's program derivation, we here go by a vacant plot near Sabarmati riverfront edge for public purpose development has been allocated in DP Plan 2021. Our site has been demarcated. There are existing multiple entry exit points from all the four corners of the site. The site has been diagonally divided into two parts connecting two distinct entry exits diagonally. Formation of public movement access around the existing entry exits were done. Allocation of subdivided plots were done. Equal distribution of green spaces was along the pedestrian movement accessways. Start of the design state begins here. 18 food courts and open sitting spaces have been allocated towards the riverfront view. On the rear side of this plot, permanent craft shops have been allocated. Then comes two diagonally placed public restrooms which caters to various people coming from all the four entry exit points. And in the last, provision of seasonal temporary kiosks were done at the back end. And a largely distributed landscape area has been spread across the entire site so that it becomes an extension to the existing public space, which is a flower park on the right hand side end. In total, it becomes an urban heart and public plaza development proposal. As we saw earlier, this is the ground floor plan of the entire layout. It has been developed as a public plaza, so there is a free pedestrian movement. There are multiple entry exit ways, and the central axis open up towards the view of this riverfront. There is no restricted public pedestrian movement activity which goes hereby throughout the entire site. As a whole, it becomes like an extension to the existing flower park entry on the right hand side edge. This slide explains the design module of the food courts and the permanent craft shops over here. This is the floor plan of the food stall. Inside every food stall module, there is a covered sitting space of 32 people provided. On the front edge, there is a 100 people sitting space, which is an open sitting space opening towards the riverfront view. If we see the design drawings, barrel wall system has been adopted in the food court. Since this project has been incorporated in the new city plot, an extraction of a character from the old city has been done, where use of barrel walls reflects its identity from old city. Use of jalis have been done. If we see in this floor plan, all the gutters which end up towards a tree pit at the back end of the food stalls, which helps me to incorporate rainwater harvesting system as well as increasing the groundwater table. Now these are the sectional drawings of these food stalls of how it is getting operated. The entire food stalls become open at the left and right hand side edge. There is only a parapet wall over here which opens up its entire view towards the plaza. At the back end of this food stall, there is a service entry exit provided for the staff working inside. As well as the steps also becomes a form of a weekly market promenade edge it opens up in the central axis, where the central axis directly opens up towards the riverfront promenade view. Now coming to the design conclusion of Site A, which is an urban heart and public plaza. This is the view of the central axis which opens up towards the riverfront promenade. The second view provided over here is the aerial view of the food courts provided with a view of the riverfront end. The next views provided over here are demarcated for the food stalls which are provided on the frontage. Above is the exterior view of the open sitting spaces and below is the interior view of the food courts. Going ahead at the back and rear side, this is the view of the temporary seasonal kiosk plaza. And at the bottom, this is the aerial view of how the different tree levels have been functioning at the riverfront edge and the entire site being developed. So like the lower promenade, the upper promenade with multiple entry exit points towards this public plaza being developed, which becomes like an extension of an entire landscape also being developed throughout the entire site just right to a flower park. Now coming to the design proposal of Site B, which is a civic center, it caters to various public development programs spread across the entire site of 8 acres plot, namely an auditorium and a multipurpose event hall. In central part, there is a city museum, a, a tourist visitor center, and an exhibition gallery for subleasing. In entirely, it's a single block divided into three zones. At the back end, it gets connected by the medium of the proposed pedestrian bridge on the four-story level. And lastly, on the left-hand side edge, we have a city archive and library and research center. This entire plot has been divided in different zones. To understand the same as per form derivation, we go hereby. There was a vacant plot near Sabarmati riverfront sanctioned in public purpose development in DP 2021. Our site gets demarcated of 8 acres. Over here, the upper promenade is also as a part of our site since it is not yet developed. Later on, there are three entry existing points coming from the upper promenade. We demarcate three more entry points and proposed which are coming from the frontage of the roadside, exactly opposite to the existing access points. The entire plot gets subdivided into three parts. Formation of public movement access around the division of site has been done. Later on, the entire site gets subdivided into three different blocks, which is A, B, and C. According to the area required for the certain program distributed, all the blocks space area has been allocated. Later, provision of equal distribution of green landscape plots has been done on the frontage as well as on the uh, rest remaining two blocks on the rear side too, towards the riverfront. Provision of parking spaces on the frontage and sides to shorten the access of the distance. For block A also we have a basement parking. And then comes our building blocks, namely the first A block is our auditorium and multipurpose event hall having a central courtyard opening towards the riverfront. Then in the central part of the site we have a city museum, a tourist visitor center as well as an exhibition gallery for subleasing. At the back end, it gets provided and connected with the means of a existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge on the first floor level with an exit provided for in form of tramps for people continuing to end. And on the left hand side, we have a city archive and library. Now understanding the detailed drawings of Site B individual blocks. This key site plan on the right hand side bottom corner helps me to relate with whichever building block we are discussing on the slide. Basically, this is the ground floor layout of Block A, which is an 750-seater auditorium as well as a two-story multipurpose event hall. This is a government self-revenue model building which caters several programs, functions and events of the city. If we see towards for this block, there are two entries provided on the frontage from the roadside. This block zoning plan indicates the two core functions, which is a 750-seater auditorium and in color blue the two-story multipurpose event hall, which is pushed at the rear side towards the riverfront. The entire two blocks gets connected by the medium by a centrally divided open space, which is an open courtyard, which becomes as a private space with a view of a riverfront to cater several functions. In this elevational profile, as we see on the frontage where there is this auditorium lobby, waiting lounge and pre-function space. This entire space has been incorporated with double story height as well as passive cooling techniques. The elevational facade has been utilized by means of different brick jalis, terracotta jalis, as well as on the first floor level concrete precast panels with lower windows to incorporate passive cooling techniques of escaping the heat coming from the bottom ends. In the entry points, there are wind shafts proposed on the roof level so that all the hot air escapes from there. The first floor layout of the building block, where the elevational provided on the bottom is of the rear side elevation facing towards the riverfront end. The central space, which is the courtyard, helps me to understand how it becomes a self-shaded space due to the double-heighted building volume. Over here, if we see, this is the two-story multi-purpose event hall having a glass facade completely opening up towards the riverfront view. This is the auditorium back end where all the backstage services happen, as well as the green rooms have been provided on two different levels, opening completely towards the riverfront end. Now coming to the basement layout of the block that we discussed earlier. Basically, this is a car park basement divided into two zones. As we see in the color-coded basement zoning plan on the top right-hand side corner, the red color on the both the edges of the basement indicates a stacked car park system, and in the central part there is a single car park system. Since the floor height in the central part is low due to a central courtyard as above, as we see in the below sectional profile over here, which helps us to understand all the different levels that are functioned is this basement profile. The yellow color being highlighted of all the circulation route for the vehicular entries and exit in this particular basement layout. This slide indicates the section cut through the central core of the auditorium and the section cut through the central courtyard of the building block. As we see in this first section over here, on frontage, this is the waiting and the entrance area and the waiting lobby provided. The entrance which directly leads you towards the top aisles. The central part which is the auditorium sittings, and at the left side the main stage and the backstage area. If we look to the shorter section on the bottom side which is cutted through the central courtyard, it helps me to understand how the single car park system is working in its bottom. The pre-function space in its frontage which caters to the upcoming crowd coming from the entrance area, and a view focused towards the riverfront area, making the entire space public as well as private focused. Now understanding the central block on side B, which is a single individual building divided into three different zones, as indicated in the color coded plan on the top right hand side corner. As we see the same relating the same ground floor plan of this entire building block, the red color indicates a city museum in the central core part of the building. At the left hand side, indicated in blue color, is a tourist visitor center, and at the right hand side, indicated yellow in color, is an exhibition gallery for subleasing. There are sub-programs introduced in this building block in medieval intervals of the core program so as to connect the building as a whole. For example, in the left-hand side part, we see a orientation theater over here, which becomes a common space for tourist visitor gallery as well as for city museum galleries over here. At the right hand side over here, there is a cafe being provided with covered and open sitting spaces as well as covered spaces, so that it becomes a part where also the people coming from the upper riverfront promenade end, which is provided the two back entries get utilized. Relating the same drawing with the means of the elevation of the front elevation profile provided below, all the museum galleries and the tourist visitor center galleries or the exhibition galleries are being incorporated with the use of maximum daylight by provision of ribbon windows on top end walls. Also, passive cooling strategies have been utilized by using different jali works of terracotta jalis on the front edges, and then by the provision of free facade walls on the left and right hand side edges where there are RCC louver walls oriented in the wind direction so that to incorporate maximum air inside, and having a stack effect of circulation through provision of certain courtyards provided dividing the building block into central cores. Coming to the first floor layout of this building block, this entire block gets connected on the first floor level on the rear side by the existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge, so that the people and visitors coming from the bridge can also visit a public space oriented building program block having certain space allocated and spread across entirely. All the spaces get connected on the upper level by means of corridor, and also open terraces have been provided so that there is an experience created for all the people to visit the maximum of spaces and certain sub-functions. Also, people who don't wish and opt to visit this building block can directly exit by the medium of the trams provided over here, which open up to the green space at the front end. At the right hand side, also provision has been provided for people to have an entry towards an exhibition gallery for subleasing where different events happen on seasonal basis. The courtyards provided in this entire building block have space frame sunroof which acts as reflectors providing shade in the entire space area of courtyard. These are the longer sections of the building block that we discussed, which helps me to understand the different spaces been experienced by the visitors as well as the city's people. What happens over here, like in the upper section, if we see the sub-programs not only function, for example, this orientation theater becomes a central core function, functioning not only for the tourist visitor center for as well as for the museum in the central part. A section being cut to the central courtyard helps me to explain with the help of the space frame over here how the sun reflectors are working. This is the tram from where there is an exit point created for people coming directly from the pedestrian bridge wishing to opt to exit the structure. This is the second section over here provided, which helps me to explain the different spaces being visited by the people. These are basically the air shafts also to create more interactive spaces in the sectional profile of this building. There are viewing pods been created in certain viewing galleries so that people can also peep to what activities has been happening at the below level. These are the shorter sections of the building block. The first section which we see on the upper end has been cut to the central courtyard where we can see how there are open staircases been created to have maximum interaction among people. Also the sun reflector space frame over here, how they are functioning and how it provides shade. If we look at the lower section again, we come to know how this rear side of this entire building block is connected by the means of the existing pedestrian bridge. At the below, there is a covered sitting space with the sectional profile being utilized, which ends up towards the lower promenade end. Over here, we see how there are different permanent galleries being connected at the rear end with these corridors. And then the central part, again, there is this courtyard coming with the frontage open terraces being utilized with the use of all the jalis as facade so that to incorporate passive cooling techniques inside and creating a play of shadow. Also on the right hand side edge, we see this entrance area, how it is made completely open towards the front edge, which is opening up in the side B. To the explanation of the last block, which is a city archive and a learning and research center, relating the same ground floor and first floor plan with the color coded floor plan on the top right hand side corner over here. Basically, it is a city archive which beholds on the ground floor certain workshops, reading rooms, and city archive depots. On the first floor level are there provided certain offices for governments, NGOs, AMCs of Ahmedabad to work in together to work on city's different drawing. On the ground floor layer over here, this space is completely open towards the central court. The entire building gets divided into two parts with the central courtyard. Again here clerestory windows have been used so that to provide maximum daylighting inside. The staircase well and the reading zones are oriented facing towards the riverfront as well as towards the central court, incorporating maximum daylight inside. Also there are air shafts provided so as to escape the hot air outside. These are the sections explaining the working of this building block, where at the lower side this section is shown about how the central space in the middle, which is an open courtyard facing towards the riverfront, becomes a common public oriented space. At the right hand side there is this open exhibition and space area where people from different design schools can exhibit certain works. This entire building beholds certain drawings and exhibits which are being maintained and also reserved in the city archive area. The upper part is the section crossed with relation with the KSAT plan over here, where this section been cut through the different reading spaces, how there are windows oriented, and at the upper end the office spaces provided for certain agencies to work together on development of the city. These are the isometric drawings of this entire building blocks, which helps to understand the different floor levels and the volumes. Now coming to the aerial view of the City Civic Center as a public space being developed on Site B. This is the aerial view from the main central gateway to the site, where the central block is a museum, the tourist visitor center, and the exhibition gallery for subleasing block. At the lower part, there is an aerial view of the auditorium and the event block. This is the elevational profile of this entire building block, and this is the courtyard which directly opens up towards the riverfront end. Next views followed upon on the screen here are, this is the central block where it gets divided and joined by the pedestrian bridge, upcoming existing proposal of the pedestrian bridge at the first floor level. The area of the trams for which the people can directly exit the bridge, which open up completely towards the frontage of the landscape area. Next view is over here. This is the city archival building block and research center, and the aerial view of the main entrance towards the museum block. All the services layout sheets of site A and then of site B. Now proceeding ahead with ARD and details, this is the structural layout detail sheet for two of the blocks, namely block A and B. There is a diagrid system of slab adapted for the auditorium block and the multipurpose event block as shown in the quayside color coded plan over here. And there is a filler slab system adopted in the B block, which is the museum, the tourist visitor center, and the exhibition block. The exposed filler slab system made from the earthen pots not only become a sustainable medium which helps to reduce the concrete volume of the entire block, but also performs thermal conductivity to the structure, making its heat gain lesser coming from the outside. These are the detail of the elevational profile being used in my museum block, where there are certain profiles of terracotta jali wall facades. This is the sectional detail of the same, where how the protruding beams and the filler slab system are being used. The second strip section details on this sheet being displayed is of the elevational facade being designed for the auditorium and the multipurpose event hall block, where passive cooling techniques have been utilized to incorporate stack ventilation by providing brick jalis, where having openings on the bottom end and then on the upper hand the lower windows with the precast concrete panels, and at the side the terracotta jali walls again. To this slide, it explains basically the building facade details is highlighted in the key site plan over here of how the free facade RCC lower walls are being oriented in the wind direction to incorporate maximum air inside, coming towards the centrally placed courtyard and create a stack effect, as well as providing the same of how the roof has been made for this particular courtyard being highlighted blue in color, where sun reflectors and sailcloth systems of space frame have been adopted so as to incorporate the play of shadow inside the courtyard, as well as the sun reflectors helps me to escape the heat from upper ends. This slide incorporates all the landscape details being done on our developed two site edges. This is the detail of the side front boundary compound wall detail, where the buffer space of tree pits not only provides shade in the interior pedestrian pathway but as well as on the exterior pedestrian pathway being undeveloped. Later on, here is the site rear side boundary detail, where the compound wall has been made in form of a flower bed throughout the entire Sabarmati riverfront promenade end, which is the rear side of my building block. The rest are the provided details of landscape being developed on our both the sites. Now giving a conclusion note on my entire thesis project, the development of Site A and Site B on both the two distinctive edges of a city in the form of commercial and cultural activities socially gets integrated by the medium of the existing proposal of a pedestrian bridge. Now visiting the pedestrian bridge for the city and its people not only becomes an activity but as well as an experience to enhance and pursue the several public space functions happening on both the two distinct edges of the city. Thus, this future proposal focuses on a future-proof development balancing the identity and historic characteristics from past towards an impressive future for the development of Ahmedabad.